I gotta look around, see if there's anybody else. Okay, here we go. Over here, and then I'll come back to you. Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. My name is Jack Johnson. What are we doing to attract the youth? You know, as I look around in multiple, organizations and so on, I see we're aging just a little bit. And I think you have a great message when it comes to security, education, employment, and development. But our youth are looking at different things. I mean, they're more into innovation, they're more into technology, things of that nature. So as we talk about retail, that's important, that's our survivability. But what about bringing our youth into a number of our forums with some of their innovative ideas, their thoughts, because they're the ones that are going to grow this campaign plan that you were referring to.
And I appreciate the question. And actually, we celebrated, was it 20 years recently of our youth, I think this past year, 20 years of our youth committee. Actually, Hampton was kind of a national leader in involving our youth in our planning efforts. And so every second and third Monday around 6 o'clock, we have a youth commission that meets, and they have youth from all across the city who engaged in planning activities. We try and engage them, actually, again, in some of the planning decisions we make. One decision that was done several years ago was actually the purchase of a teen center and the creation of a teen center out on Butler Farm Road. We found it underutilized, and so now it's going to become a training facility for the police. But we're thinking proactively about engaging our youth. There's a challenge there, and actually I had a town hall meeting with them, I think it was last November, and there are some things that they're looking for that we don't have, and I have to admit that. But I think the critical thing is to try and find out what it is that it excites them, that they want to be a part of. And in fact, there was a discussion about why we have not rebuilt one of the community centers, and the city manager had to she didn't admonish me, she kind of reminded me that whereas we have this vision of kind of what they want, 5 to 10 years from now, what we see as the basketball and all the physical things, it might be a computer room, it might be some kind of innovation lab, it might be a maker space. So yes, I think we're positive in inviting our youth to be a part of a planning process. And I think the other part is to really try and get more involved. The problem we're having right now, really, it is retention. We got individuals who grow up here, and they either go to school here, college here, and then they move away. Or we got individuals who grow up here, go to college someplace else, and don't want to come back. And so we've got to try and make sure, again, that's why we're trying to make this kind of a cool place that has vibes, but it's also the jobs. And so we do have incubation projects. We've got actually out the National Institute of Aerospace, there's a, well, they changed the names so many times, but I'm not sure if it's a Peninsula Technology. So the city manager can help me out on this one.
I'm sorry.
Well, the center we have out near the NIA, there's kind of like an incubator.
The reactor.
Yeah, and so we've got things out there to try and incubate businesses. So we're trying to get those business creations, and a lot of young people are actually out there doing things. And so the idea is for them to try and recognize Hampton as a place where if you have an idea, you can birth that idea here, you can get resources to help you grow that, and hopefully then that'll attract other people. Yeah, but when I go into young people settings, I try and find out what some of our young adults, why they choose to stay here, and you'd be surprised what some of the reasons are. But I think there are newer, cooler cities, and I will admit that, and sometimes like in Silver Spring, I'll say, wow, it's a cool place. But we are an older city, we're a 408-year-old city, we're about 96% built out, and so the only way we're going to really develop is to redevelop, and so we've got to be really strategic about that. So that's why we're asking citizens to be a part of that planning process, because we want to be able to make sure that we're not a dying city, that we have an aging population, and are not bringing the young folks to sustain us. So that's resiliency. Hold on, I think I saw one more hand.